So what do you think about holding cash?
Holding cash is, but at least you're not losing money, and when it comes, you can just go big into it, and that's what happened in year 2020. We had 75 million in cash sitting around at Stone Trust, and when all the bonds started dropping big time, we went big into it. We were not thinking that at that time. We just want to act every day. Every day we want to buy bonds. So right now in the Stone Trust portfolio, we have around $95 million in cash sitting around doing nothing. But that I could use it for acquisitions or to buy bonds or to buy stocks if they come down really cheap. So it's something, you need to have something in reserves, something to act. And that is what we are doing. Even if it is not earning anything, at least it gives us, the power to buy something when it comes down.
Francis has only grade 12 education, okay? But he has the personality and the temperament of a value investor. And this is what you need, okay? This is what you need. Now, Francis, maybe he's lucky too, because probably he inherited these genes probably of contrarianism. He was telling me that he grew up in India and he was a part of a big family, and he had to actually go in the market and negotiate things with the vendors, right, Francis?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And this kind of honed your skills, I guess, of finding cheap stuff.
Yeah. So what I was doing like shopping for my family. So I would go out to the bazaar and you haggle. You need to know what you're buying, and then you haggle for prices. And I found out when I came to Canada is that that is exactly the skill that is needed in the stock market. Except you don't need to haggle; you just have to watch those prices. But you need to know your valuation. You know what each of these companies are worth, and when it comes down really cheap, and it comes down. If that industry comes down within your circle of competence, within your circle of knowledge that you know, then you just buy them. And most of you have that temperament. You just have to translate that or transfer that to the stock market. Like, how many of you, let's say, buy stuff when they're at a discount, like in the stock in the supermarket, right? And if you buy them at a discount, then you have that DNA in you, that trait in you. So you just have to translate it to the stock market or the bond market. So that's very simple. And that's what I understood when I was really young.
Yeah, just a quick question about something you brought up earlier, Francis. Circle of competence. Like, how do we develop that? Like, so for example, like, how do we get like exposure to like a lot of different industries so we can invest in those?
Yeah. So so comfort factor is really important. So what you do is, like, when I was going into it, initially when I was young, I did not have that much comfort factor, and what I would buy. So I would buy a basket of stocks, right? So I would have comfort in terms of the principal. I'm just buying a whole basket of them cheap. So that is called shotgun type investing. You just spray everywhere. You have 20, 30, 40 stocks. But as you get older, you will find that not the certain areas that are your strength. Then you go rifle shooting. You can go like each stock, I'll buy more of it. So as you gain more confidence, and that confidence also built on success in the past, then you will say, okay, this industry is I'm going to be really good at. I'm really good in forest products, or I'm really good in consumer products. And that is where you concentrate.
So what you read about industries, how do you develop the skill in an industry? You read a lot of materials?
Yeah. So I found that when I was young, it took me 6 months to a year just to understand one industry. You won't get it just from 1 to 3 months of reading. You really have to be in there. And then it takes 6 months to a year to really understand an industry. And even then, you have to keep honing your skill. You could be in an industry for that period where it was really hot, really going up. And then you have to also go through a period where there's a downturn. And so I remember when I first came to Canada, architecture was really hot at that time. But 3 years later, there was too much overbuilding, and most of the architects that were there was a hot area to get into in school. most of them, no, then you had an oversupply of architects. So you have to go to the downturn and upturn and downturn to really understand the danger of being in an industry. The same thing, let's say, in terms of you're talking about choosing this industry to go. But when I was young, I also had to make a decision on where I should concentrate my skill level. So I found out that although I was good in math and all my classmates were going into engineering because of that, I found out that if I went into engineering, most probably I would just be an average student or above average, but not outstanding. And then with Oriental parents, they want you to go into being a doctor and so on, right? And that's where and also my other classmates were also going into medical fields, like being a doctor. But I felt that that field I would just be an average or above average. I would not be outstanding. I figured it out really early on that my best bet was investments, but I had definitely a competitive advantage over a lot of people just because of my background. So even at that time, going into investments was really a negative thing because the stock market did not go up for 20 years. You all lost money if you were in the market for 20 years. But I felt that was my field. That is where I have a competitive advantage. And I just went there, regardless of who I was said, my peers was doing, or my parents were saying anything. That is where I would excel. So so even for students, you all have to, make that type of decision where you are going to excel, not just being average or above average.